Hey everybody, Ray Del Vecchio here from websiteprofitcourse.com. Today I want to go through 10 completely randomized examples of local business web design. So what I did is I picked out 10 random cities across the US. I tried to make sure that I wasn't picking the most populated city in all these states, just so we're getting some suburban type areas. And what I'm going to do is go through these 10 cities and search for a different type of local business or service, see what comes up, and I'm sure we're going to have some good websites. I'm positive we're going to come across some bad websites, and I really can't tell you exactly how much traffic each one of these terms is generating, but what I can say is if you're ranked on the first page and frankly in the top 5 for some of these terms, you're going to rank for a lot of other related terms, and you're going to build a website that gets you traffic on a daily basis, which is what you need as a local business. You don't need a ton of traffic, but if you're getting anywhere between 10, 20, 30 visitors a day, sometimes that's enough for a local business as long as your service and business are high quality. So let's get started with this. The first one that I'm going to go through is an example from my state, which is New Jersey. I'm going to pick Ocean City, New Jersey as the town. That's a short town. It's about an hour from me, but I went there every year as a kid. Haven't been there more than a few times in the last 5 years or so, but I should have an idea of some of the businesses that are going to come up for this search that I chose, which is shopping. Shopping Ocean City, New Jersey. I mean, this is a short town. It's a town of tourists, so a lot of people that go down there are going to be looking to shop. So I'd imagine this is something that gets searched fairly often, especially during the summer months. So if I go here, you'll see first of all that the results that come up here are the map results. You're going to see this pack of map results, which you don't actually need a website to get ranked on here. You just need your business verified within Google. And you'll notice that the first 3 that come up are Stanton's, which is a shopping mall, B&B department store. I'm pretty sure I know what that one is. Let me take a look at their website. And I'd imagine that some of these websites are going to be just directories, like businessfinder.nj.com. nj.com is a news website, so this is just a business directory that's popping up here because Google sees this as just as good of a result as the other websites for this topic. So let me see if I can find a few regular domains of small businesses. So TripAdvisor is not one, Facebook, Yellow Pages, Yelp, which is the Yelp result for B&B, which is this store here that I have open in the new tab. And here we go, 7th Street Surf Shop. I believe this is on the boardwalk, which if you notice down here, let me see, George's Candies. We'll do this one, Rauhauser's Candies. But if you see down here, they'll also show you related searches. So another related search might be boardwalk stores. Take a look at this. We have Ocean Treasures. So here you see an example of a store that's listed, but they don't have a website link. And the top website here is Ocean City Vacation, which is probably a directory-based website. I'm sure they have other types or other content on there, but for the most part, I'd imagine that this has a lot of business information on there. And so yeah, it looks like most of these results coming up are really directory sites. Yelp, TripAdvisor, Facebook, Fun New Jersey, Yellow Pages, BuyOceanCity.com, OceanCityVacation.com. So let's just take a look at the websites we have open now. So here we go with B&B stores. And you'll notice that they have 4 locations: Seagirt, Beach Haven, Ship Bottom, and Ocean City. They have their website broken down into categories, and even though this design itself isn't very sophisticated, I love the fact that they're using good photos. I don't know if these are their own photos or these are stock photos. They look to me like they're probably just free stock photos. But I love the fact that they're using really high quality photos on the website. So they have their Facebook page linked up for all 4 stores, and they have a newsletter sign up. So one thing that they might want to improve on is making their newsletter sign up a little bit better, a little bit more noticeable, and that way they might be able to do some email marketing And let's just go to a few other pages. We'll go to the Who We Are page. See, they just have a short write-up on this. So this is really a simple page. Location and hours. Okay, so they have the Google map linked up with the hours and phone number for each location. So I like that. So this really is a really standard website that is actually put together on SquareSpace. I have this little Google Chrome extension called Wappalizer, and that shows you the technologies behind every website that you load. And you'll see this one uses Squarespace as the content management. But this actually looks really similar to a WordPress site, so it would be pretty easy to create a site on WordPress similar to this, and that's the platform that I always use. I always use WordPress for local business websites. Let's move on to the next site. So here we have 7th Street Surf Shop, and they have an online shop here. First of all, you can see they link to their social accounts right up here, which is good. And they have a banner slideshow, which gives you the hours. They tell you to follow them on Instagram. They do a surf camp, which is another good way for this place to make money. And it looks like, yeah, because they have the shop on here, you can order online and they can mail order it. So they're doing a lot of cool stuff with this website. The design is not necessarily very modern, and I think you'll see that with so many different local business websites, but it gets the job done. And they also have this feature up here. It looks like they have beach cams and boardwalk cams that you can look into. I don't know if these other two are working, but this first one you can see, which I'm assuming is a live look at the boardwalk right now in Ocean City. So let's go to the surf camp page. I want to see what they have on here. And they have a little bit more information, and it looks like they have a video. Let's see if this video loads. Oh no, this is actually a slideshow. Kind of look like video from the user interface. But they have a slideshow of previous lessons. So that's a good page to add. And this is this is one thing that you have to sometimes convince small businesses of. You need them to be as transparent as possible, put as much information about their business as possible, and continuously add to the website. You know, a lot of people treat a website like a brochure, and it's not. You can update it every day if you want. And if they are updating every day, you better make sure that they're paying you for that if you're doing the updates. But you want to put as much information on the website as possible, and over time you're going to be more likely to rank on Google for these different search terms. So let's go to the next site. We have George's Candies. This one I really love. This website design is beautiful. They have an online store. And right here from Wappalizer, I can see that they're using Magento as their cart solution, which I've never used Magento before, but when I did look into e-commerce, Magento is one of the biggest open source, I believe, solutions. I think it's free, as far as I know. Or they may have a subscription. I'm not completely sure because I have not dealt with many e-commerce websites. But let's take a look here. You see under the About Us page, they give you a nice little history with some old photos. And they also have history in macaroons, which is pretty cool. I'm assuming this is what they're known for. I'm not aware of this place off the top of my head. So let me see what else we have here. Candy for the holidays. So it looks like they have Passover friendly candy. Must be a category on the shop. And this is loading a little bit slowly. So I don't know what's going on here exactly. Let me see if I can go to the... there it goes. Well, it looks like this page isn't loading. So I wonder if that's actually might be an issue with the website. If this link is broken, then that's something that they might want to fix. Let's go to the contact page and see where they're located. So they are on the boardwalk. I wonder if this was added after I've been there, because I'm not aware of this. I feel like I would know of this place, but like I said, website-wise, this is the nicest website that I've seen. So let's go to the next one. Here we have another candy shop, which this one, it looks like this one is not on the boardwalk. This is on Asbury Ave, which is a few streets off of the boardwalk. And you can see this website, although just as functional as the other one, it doesn't have the visual appeal. But this one, they do have the brown color scheme, so you would think that they're kind of going for the chocolate theme between these two images and the color scheme. They do have a linked YouTube video, which I like. They have the link to Facebook, which is good. And they have their hours. I mean, for a store like this, I think it's probably important to put your hours on every page, or at least make it really accessible from the navigation bar. Looks like they have different seasonal categories. Let's go into a few of them and see what they have. And they have a video on how to make your own candy. That's a great content idea to build your website. They have a slideshow of images. So it looks like even though the design for this website is not that great, they do have a lot of content on here, which I like. They have a lot of good information, a lot of good pictures. Looks like they have some stories. They have YouTube videos. So in that respect, they are doing pretty well. But there's a lot left to be desired in terms of, getting this ranked a little bit higher, doing a little bit more with the design and maybe navigational structure. But overall, this is another great example of a small local website that you don't necessarily know the technology they're using. This is just a plain HTML site, so they might be using a program like, they might have used a program like Microsoft Front Page years ago. Who knows? So let's go to the next one here. And this one is the OceanCityVacation.com website, which is probably just a overall tourist website. It might be the official website for Ocean City. I'm not 100% sure. And right here, this is quite simply just a list and map key of all the different places to shop on the boardwalk. And they have them all, well, I don't know if they're linked up or if they have their own page within this website. That's kind of what it looks like. They have a directory page within this OceanCityVacation.com, which is linked up. And so this site looks like they base a lot of it on the business directory, but they do have a lot of other pages on here. Things to do, where to stay, about the island, places to eat. So you can see why this website ranks high, even though it's not necessarily completely about shopping or stores. It's because it is a very local website that has a lot of information on the town. So that's our first example. Let's go to the second one. So we're going into less familiar territory here for me. I don't know any of these cities that I picked. I don't know anything about them. So I picked one from California, Roseville, California, and I would imagine that organic gardening seems to be a pretty big deal in California. I have my own organic garden in my backyard here in New Jersey. That inspired me, and you can see here, compost delivery, South Jersey. That's actually something that I've searched for before. So that's what I'm going to search for, compost delivery in Roseville, California, and we'll see what comes up there. And the first one that comes up in both the map results and the organic results is the Sierra Nursery and Rock. So let me open up their website. And I'm going to also open up this one for Hasties Capital Sand and Gravel. Those are also the top two websites here. And you'll see the Sierra Nursery and Rock, they have an inner page of their website also ranked. So they're doing really well. I think this is going to be the standard for the search that I just performed here. So we're going to take a look at their website a little bit more in depth. So let's go over here. And first thing I notice here on the Wappalizer, it uses WordPress. I see the WordPress icon. This is a WordPress website. So the WordPress website, out of the box, it's great for SEO, which is one reason I love using WordPress. You have a lot of ability to customize it. And they have an image slider here. These are all just images of their work. What I assume is their own pictures, although they might be stock photos. I would think this one is probably not a stock photo if this is their, their facility. And I can see they have 2 different locations. They have a number here for Roseville, a number for Lincoln. They have a list of their most popular products, which I like that. You can kind of get the feel for what it is just from the picture. You don't even need the name of it. I mean, I can see this is mulch. This is some kind of mulch. This is rock. This is a larger rock. This looks like wood chips, barks, small bark. If I go down here, they have the hours of operation for the different places, the 2 different locations. I could see here the web designer that put this together, E. Curtis Designs. Take a quick look at their website just to see what their design looks like. And this, you can see they're from Sacramento. So I always say that when you see local website design, it's usually from a local website designer or company. You always have an advantage if you're living in the county, the city, the state of the person that you're trying to work for, the client that you're trying to get. So focus on that and build a relationship with them, because a lot of times when you come across these websites, they don't even exist anymore. It's somebody that probably built a site 5 years ago and they're out of business. So that's really what you want to look for. But let's go back to the site, check out their About page. You know, this is a pretty straightforward About page. They don't have any real creative information, excuse me. Under the landscape materials page, they have a list of their different materials. Let's see if they have more photos on these pages. We'll go into rock, sand, and gravel. They have a lot of information on here. I really like the way that they have this presented in a table form. They show you the different options and we can view the details. And they show you here the price, $49 a yard. They give you a button for delivery information, which it looks like, I'm looking at the URL, it links to a JPEG. And they open the JPEG within a fancy box container here. So I love this. They show you within the local zone how much the delivery charge is. They also have a calculator on here, which this is just a separate HTML page. It doesn't look like this is part of WordPress. But all these little tools and the fact that they went through and have pages here for all their different materials, I think that's a big reason why they're ranked highly. And they also have reviews, so that's another huge factor with local businesses. They have 6 reviews here on their Google page, and I wouldn't be surprised if they had reviews on other pages. Let's see if we even go down here. So the other website, this Hasties, they have reviews on Yelp. 4-star review with 17 reviews. And we'll take a look at their website. The first thing that I notice is here, the HTML or website title, they don't have anything descriptive. So over here, you'll see if I hover over it, it says rock, sand, and gravel, Sierra Rock. So one thing I would add to that is I would put the location, whether it's the county in California, if they have multiple locations, or even both locations, Roseville and Lincoln, California, I would put that in the website title. On this website title, it just says home. So the fact that they don't even put any descriptive words in there or the location of their business, that's an easy change that they can do to help them out SEO-wise. And they're still doing well because they have reviews and they obviously have enough information on their website, which let's go through that. They have their products page, and I don't see any other thing here. They have a disclaimer. One thing I notice, which you might not notice here, right up here the URL is gohasties.com. If I click on this disclaimer link, it actually takes me to a different URL, which is hastiesandgravel.webs.com. So I could tell that they used webs.com to build this website. And it looks like the domains aren't integrated nicely, so you're actually going between domains. You're going from one domain to the webs.com subdomain. So despite the fact that they're doing these things wrong, or they have these little issues, they're still ranking well. And again, I would say it's because of the content. They have enough content on this website in terms of pictures. They have a history page. A little quick write-up on their history. They have, this is something I've never seen on landscaping sites near me. They have the actual trucks that they use to deliver. That's pretty cool. See, that's a creative page to add to your website that you're not going to see on most landscaping websites. And on the weather page, they have an embedded weather channel, weather update. They also have a calculator, which I've seen on a lot of websites. This is a pretty common thing for the sand, gravel, rocks, compost websites. So those are the two best examples for this keyword, compost delivery Roseville. And you can see you don't need to do everything correctly to rank well, but you need to do, there's maybe a list of 10 things you need to do. If you do 5 or 6 of them, you're probably going to do better than 80% of the other local businesses. And if you actually take the time to go through all, 10 of those checkpoints, you are almost certainly going to be on page number 1 for your town. Now, obviously, depending on how much traffic that gets, that's up for discussion, but you're not going to get traffic if you're not ranked. So let's go to the third keyword example here. For this, I'm going to go to Texas, and I'm going to look for a realtor. So I'm going to search for realtor, and the city that I chose was Denton, Texas. And I'll just say I don't know much about this industry and these types of websites. I would think that a real estate website, or the ones that come up, are probably going to be some of the bigger realties. And I know that some of those bigger realties offer website services for the individual realtors in the locations across the country. So I'm kind of interested to see what shows up here. So let's take a search for that. And yeah, the first result that's organic result, non-paid, is this Realtor.com. So this is a big website. You have Realtor.com, the first 3 listings actually. And then here's the first realty that looks like an individual, McKissack Realty, Brad McKissack. And then you have Zillow, which is obviously a major site. Ebby, I don't exactly know what Ebby.com is. I'll take a look at that. I don't know if that's a big site or a small business site. And then we have Jimmy Brown Realtor. That obviously looks like a small site. So let's take a look at those. And this is the number 1 ranked, besides the big websites, this is the number 1 ranked small business realtor website. And you can see, again, this is not very modern design. This looks like it probably was designed maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, or it was done by somebody who just isn't, very well versed with design. Let's take a look at the technology if we can. And it looks like this one is built on ASP, which is Microsoft, their web server, and that platform for website development, which I've never built on. I always use Linux. And then let's take a look at some of these pages now. So on the home page here, first of all, the first thing that I notice is that there is a huge wasted space right here. Unless something isn't loading on the page for me, there is absolutely nothing on the main part of the page. So I don't know why that's, the case. Maybe these testimonials are supposed to be up there and it's just not rendering properly, but this is a complete waste of space. And yet again, it doesn't affect their ranking. They're still ranking highly for that search term. But I guess it does put a little more emphasis on these two things, the featured searches and the search for homes. So this is something I'd imagine you'd find on a lot of realtor websites where they want a search feature, they want their listings. So these are types of things that I've never built a website like this before. And I'm sure you could do this with WordPress. This is the nice thing about WordPress. There's probably plugins that do these types of features specific to realtor websites. So let's take a look at the properties, see what that page looks like. And it looks like they don't have a page for that. We got to go to one of these sub pages. Let's see featured listings. We have 17 listings, and we have a couple houses. We have a few lot listings. So I like the way that they have the listings presented here. This is actually a nice look. And let me see if I could see the technology, or not the technology, but who built this website. So this is Homes Media Solutions from Homes.com. So I guess Homes.com offers a website development service. That would be my guess. Take a quick search for them. And yeah, you can see real estate agent marketing tools. So homes.com offers marketing tools for individual realtors. So this is the type of industry where you would need to go the extra mile and learn some of these widgets. You know, how to feature listings, how to build a more elaborate contact form. You might need to do a search feature. So, you know, I always recommend doing a little bit of research into one particular industry around the country just to see what other websites are doing. So let me go on to the next website here. Now this one, ebby.com, Holiday Realtors. I don't know if this is a small Texas-based site or if this is a national company. And it looks like down here they just list Texas. Let me see, office locations. So yeah, this is a Texas company, but they are located all over Texas. I see, you know, a couple dozen locations here, maybe a dozen or two locations here, all from Texas. So this is, again, a professional website, you know, a place that has many locations like this. I mean, this is a pretty major website. This might be almost too big of a website to handle if it's one of your first projects. But I do like the way it looks, and let me see if I can go through a few other pages here. They have, let me go to the mortgage and insurance page. Home Team Mortgage, so they just list the company, I guess they use, the different types of insurance that they offer, and then here's the insurance salesman. So this, here we go. I like this on the buyer's page. Should I rent or buy? What should I buy? Buyer's guide, moving resources. These are great examples of pages that businesses should add to help your customers along. I mean, not only do you want to talk about what you can do for them, but give them a guide how they can do things for themselves, and there's how they can do things for themselves. And there's always going to be a portion of people that don't want to do it themselves and are willing to pay you. So let's go to this checklist. And I like the way this is laid out. I thought these might be actual check boxes, but still, the layout of this page is very nice. I like how they alternate the background with white and gray so you can see the individual lines. And you can also download this as a PDF. This is a good example of being transparent and, you know, letting people know all the information that you've acquired by operating in a particular industry. In order to be an expert online, you have to show Google that you're hitting every angle from your industry topics. You know, if you put out the most content and the best content on as many topics on your industry as possible, chances are your website's going to do a lot better than somebody that just has a static 5 or 6 page website that they update, you know, once every 6 months. So let's go to the next website, Jimmy Brown. This is a small website, and you can kind of tell that from the design. But the one thing I do like on this page, even though the design is pretty simple, I like how straightforward it is. You know, you have the logo, you have a slogan, helping families find homes in Denton for over 48 years. You have 3 links here, and, you know, a quick little blurb. So there's nothing to overwhelm you on this page, which I like. You know, sometimes websites have way too much on a page, and you don't know what you should be looking at or how to navigate between the site, and this puts it right in front of you. You have 3 buttons to click, and that's it. So I'm going to look at property management services. Just click on one of these pages, and that brings you to a regular layout here where you have the navigation bar. Let me take a look at our services page. So they go into the individual services here. It doesn't look like they have a page on each service. And if we go back to the home page, you know, we come back to this page. So this is definitely a really simple website, but it gets the job done. I mean, in terms of minimalism, I tend to err on the side of minimalism. You know, I want to have less instead of more. And sometimes clients want a little bit of pizzazz or something into the design, and I'll have to build that in after feedback from them, because a lot of times I don't build that in upon the first showing to the client. I let them tell, because a lot of times when you think of design, they are not going to be on the same page as you. Like they have their idea of what good design is, and you have your idea. And eventually, you'll probably want to meet in the middle, but it's better to add what they recommend to a simple design as opposed to building a really elaborate design that you think's amazing and they hate it. And then that's just work wasted. So I usually focus on the layout and the framework upon the first client feedback session. And from there, that's when I start to add a few design elements and those types of things. So that's a good example of realty websites. So let's go to our next example. For this one, it's right now it's March, and it's almost tax season. So in fact, it is right in the middle of tax season. One of my friends is an accountant, and he's working crazy hours now. So let's search for that. We're going to search for accountant in Novi, Michigan. It's a town I've never heard of before until today. So let's take a look and see what comes up with this. So I have 3 that show up on the map results. We have Shindle Rock, Smart Tax Professional Services, and Yarmac. And all 3 of them have a website, so let's just open those up. And it looks like this Smart Tax has a 4.5 star rating with 8 reviews. And if we go down to the organic results right under the map listings, you'll see that Shindle Rock is the first one listed. You can see right in the title they have Novi-based accounting firm, so that's good SEO on their part. The next one's Yarmac, so that's the one that we just clicked on. And wouldn't you know, right under Indeed.com, which is a big site, this is just accounting jobs actually, so this isn't even necessarily the best result for what I just searched. But right under that we have the Smart Tax CPA, which is also on the map results here. So these 3 companies are doing it well. And then if we go down even further, you'll see we do have one more website here, Mike Thomas CPA, who he might just be an individual, or maybe he has his own office space or firm. And then the other pages are big sites. Yellow pages, Thumbtack, Monster.com, CPA Finder, businessfinder.mlive.com. If you remember in the previous example, we had a New Jersey.com directory, and this is the Michigan example of that. So let's start looking at these websites. So Shindle Rock, the first one. It looks like right away I see the WordPress icon. This is a WordPress website ranking well. So there you go. One thing I like here is they have 2 locations, and they put this in the footer. They put their address in the footer, which is good for local SEO. If you have your address on every page, then it's pretty hard for Google to ignore the fact that that's your main location. And you also want to verify it with Google to reinforce that. But let's go to the services page. Let's see if they have a page for services. And there you go. You see they have a few cool features with these images loading after the framework loads. You saw those images kind of pop in, and then this background image come after the fact. And I love this design. I mean, this is a really great design, and it shows you everything you want. The information on the page, the people involved, and a testimonial. And then it links to a full story. So let's take a look at that. And this is actually interesting. I thought this would be a separate page, but they load the story within a fancy box kind of container. So that's pretty cool. So they have a lot of slick features with this, and it doesn't appear as though they list the creator of the website, which you'll notice a lot of businesses do that. Some people don't want your information out there, and some don't care if you put your information on their website, but it all depends. Some people value that privacy, and if they're paying you, I don't mind that. As long as you have a good relationship with them, I wouldn't be hung up on getting a link on the website when you finish a client website. All of these features are really, really slick. I mean, this is a great website design, and I don't know if this is a pre-existing theme or if they took a theme and customized it, but one way or another, this is a very awesome design in my estimation. And you can filter by experience. You have accounting, admin. So all of these features are really awesome, I think. And then if we go to the blog, let's see if they're actively blogging. And yeah, they are. Right? You know, right now we're in March, and they have 3 posts in March 2016 already. So, you know, it's no wonder why they're ranking well. They have a great website. They have a ton of information. They have a great design. They're active with their blog and writing articles. And they have, you know, they're good with SEO in terms of their title. So they're doing a great job. So let's go to the next website, Smart Tax CPA. This one is also WordPress. I see the icon up here. We have a WordPress website. Obviously, the design is not to the same level as the previous one, but design is not a big factor in ranking. Design is a factor in the human element, the human appeal. So, which, by the way, the human appeal does impact ranking because Google can tell how many people are clicking through to your site, you know, how long people spend on your site. All that stuff goes into how you rank on Google. So let's take a look at some of these other pages on this site. Go to the business services page. And I like how they break this down into a list. Instead of doing just, you know, long paragraphs, they make it a little bit easier for you to skim. I mean, this is a long page. They have a long list of services. Much like the other website we looked at a few moments ago, there's an empty space here. So I don't know why they have this empty space here, and then the sidebar starts up here. Maybe they have, it's possible maybe they're running an ad on here, and I have an ad blocker. Although I do think I have my ad blocker disabled, so something weird is going on with that. That's just wasted space in my opinion. If you're going to have a sidebar, you know, start midway through the page, you might as well have it start up here. But overall, I do like this website. You know, it's clear. You have an easy to follow navigation bar. It's readable, and they have testimonials. They have their services listed. I mean, it's not the best website out there, but it's good enough to rank well. And if you rank well, you get traffic, you get business. So, you know, putting a website up is the first step. So let's go to the next one. We have Yarmac CPA, and this one is an even more antiquated design in my opinion, but again, it gets the job done. It's not too overwhelming, although they do follow you know, they have the long paragraphs here, which sometimes can be off-putting. They have something from October 20th, 2015. So I'm not exactly sure. I think they could do this homepage a little bit better with their own services. I feel like this is like a cut from a newspaper or article, which I don't know why they would place that on the homepage. Maybe they should do like a link, an image link or something like that to this article on a separate page. I feel like this homepage could be a little bit better design-wise. But let's go through and take a look at the other pages. Looks like we have a My Tax Savings page. I do like this, how this stands out. You can see they list Novi, Michigan and Heartland, Michigan in the footer. The other thing I'll notice is that the copyright is 2008 to 2010, so you can tell they probably haven't updated the site since about 2010. They do have a client portal login, so I'm curious to know what kind of software they use to do this, and if it's still operational, if they're still using it. FAQ. I think an FAQ page is underrated. A lot of people don't have them, and it might be one of the easiest pages to create because if you're in business for a year, 2 years, 3 years, or even longer, chances are you get a ton of repeat questions from potential clients. So it doesn't hurt to just take a day or two and list them out and write a quick 1, 2, 3 line answer to these questions. And that's another page for your website, and one that a lot of people find useful. So let's go to the documents, and they have a document library of PDFs, which, I mean, I would imagine that's useful on an accounting website compared to maybe other types of websites. They have some testimonials. I mean, they could do some design or CSS to make this stand out a little bit more, but overall, you know, they have good information on this website, even though the design leaves a lot to be desired. Then they give you some government links. So again, this goes with being helpful. I mean, they only list 4 here, but the more helpful you can be with pointing out information and links, the better. And frankly, when it comes to accounting, this is like a foreign language to people. So even if you're helpful, that's going to help with Google, but people are still going to want your services because they don't want to learn the stuff themselves. So let's go to the recommended books page. This is another thing I like. And in fact, look at this. I recommend this book on my resources page, The E-Myth, although I might have the newer version of it, but I recommend that book. Oh, here we go, The E-Myth Revisited. This is the book that I read. So that's an interesting find right there, that this guy recommends that book. But this is a great page. If you read a lot, why not put that information and recommendations on the website, especially if it's helpful for an industry, or just business books in general if you're a business owner. So this goes along with what I've been saying. Add as much information as you can to your website. Continue to add to it over time. And it might not happen immediately. It might not happen in 2 or 3 months. But over a span of 6 months, a year, 2 years, you will build your website and start getting traffic if you're consistent and you treat it like a living, breathing thing that you can constantly grow. So let's go to the last website here. We have Mike Thomas CPA. And not surprisingly, this is probably the most basic out of all of them. They still do have a login button here. And if you look at the login, it's a different URL. So let's open that up. This is Secure Firm Portal. So I would imagine that it's possible this website is somehow linked to this company that owns this domain. I don't want to look too much into this one because this is a really basic website, but it looks like they do have a newsletter. They could make their subscription to the newsletter a little bit more enticing. They do have financial guides on here. So I think you'll see, even though the design isn't great, yet again, we do have a high-ranking website because they go the extra mile with putting information on the site. And not to mention, some of these might have been around for a while. So if your site's been around for 5 to 10 years, Google's going to put a little bit more weight into that than a site that was just registered last week. And that kind of makes sense. If you've been around that long, then you have longevity, and that is equal to trust in terms of Google. Whereas every spammer under the sun registers, 10 or 100 domains and tries to do spammy things. So Google's a little bit more hesitant in the first couple months that you put up your website. So let's go to our next example. We're going to say finito with accounting because this is a topic that really does confuse people, including myself. This time we're going to search for a remodeling contractor. So we're going to do remodeling contractor, Fort Collins, Colorado. And we'll take a look what comes up here. We have Highcraft Builders, Associates in Building and Design, Al Kulinski Building, and they all have websites. So let me click on those. Those are the 3 map listings. And then we have Thumbtack, which is a big site. It's a directory type site. These are the other ones that we just clicked on here, the ABD and Highcraft. Then we have House, which if you don't know what House is, it's kind of like a Pinterest for home remodeling. You can get a lot of ideas. Contractors, interior designers, they all post pictures on there, and the images on House are incredibly high quality. It's some of the best photos I've probably seen ever on a website for that type of stuff, like remodeling and just upscale design. Then we have Home Advisor. That's another large site. We have Artisan Remodeling and Repair, so we'll open this one. And let's take a look at these websites. So the first one, Highcraft, immediately I see the WordPress icon. This is a WordPress website. This one doesn't use the full width of the page. It kind of is a very self-contained kind of design, which I like. I mean, if you don't have a lot of words, then why build out the page and add fluff? And the photos that I'm seeing here are really high quality. That's an incredible kitchen design. They have an exterior picture. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming these are their own pictures. They could be stock photos, but I'm assuming it's their own pictures. But either way, it does give you a good first impression. They have their story page with a picture of all the people that work within this company. The same thing with the crew. It's kind of a similar page. I don't know why they don't have those pages merged. They have awards and affiliations. And here you go, Best of House, Top 500 Remodelers. So they have a lot of different awards listed here. I mean, this is pretty good stuff. You know, in this industry, any type of award you have, it's good to post it on there. If you have a good rating online on certain places, it's good to post that. A lot of people are part of a local business directory, so you can put that. And here you go, BBB accredited, where it links to their BBB profile, so you can see any ratings they might have there. The only thing I don't like here is that they have the testimonials here in a sub-menu. I think they should put that front and center within the main menu. But other than that, this is a nice looking website, both design-wise and the type of pages that they have on here. You know, they have a gallery for all their different services, kitchens, basements, baths, additions, exteriors, custom homes. And we're going to see if we can load the gallery here. We'll do a basement gallery and see what kind of pictures they have. So yeah, these are great pictures. So they obviously do a real nice job at taking good pictures, and that's an important part for residential home service industry. So let's go to the next one. And here we have a similar gallery on the home page. They have the navigation icons for custom homes, remodeling, interior design. They do the same thing. They put the testimonials under the About Us. I would put that up here so you don't have to hover over this About Us to get there, because intuitively sometimes people don't know that. I mean, a lot of people are going to go to your About page, but the testimonials or reviews page is just as important, so I think you should put that up in the main menu. But other than that, I mean, this is a pretty decent site design. Let's go to a few other pages here and see what it looks like. And they have a similar gallery. They have good photos, once again, high quality photos. Besides this one, this is a tiny photo. But other than that, these look really good. And I like how they do have the bullet points here with the checklist. And they have their phone number. It would be good if they had the address listed there, but I'm assuming they have the address listed on the contact page. Unless they work from home. Sometimes people that work from home don't want to list their address. They'll just list the city they work in. So let's take a look at the contact page. And they do have a physical location according to this address. So this is another good website. Let's see what the technology is. I don't know if this is WordPress. Now this is Zerb Foundation, which I've heard of before, but I don't know much about. So let's go to the next one. We have Kulinski. And this is WordPress. And I kind of assumed that before I even saw this icon, because this actually looks similar to websites that I've built before. I really like this website for a lot of reasons. Number one, I kind of like this template for residential home remodelers, where you have a nice background, and I think depending on what type of service you have, you can change the background to that. So for example, landscaping, you might want to put a grass background. Tree service, you might want to put a tree background. You know, if you do flooring, then this might be a good one. This guy does basements, and I'm not sure this background necessarily matches what you would think of when you redesign a basement. But other than that, I like the layout of it. You have the home banner that are links to the inner pages. It looks like they have good photos. They have clear headlines. I like the font on here. It's just very simple, clean font. They link, well, actually these aren't links, but they have the icons for the different associations and organizations that they're a part of. And then we can go to some of the gallery pages. And yeah, right here they have better photos here. Same thing with the house gallery. This might be a custom home. They have the lightbox effect with the gallery. They do have the testimonials up here. In my experience, testimonials gets clicked a lot more than other pages. So, You might even want to put the testimonials closer to the front versus the end of the navigation bar. But I like that they have the testimonials here. They have a process page, which I like that they go through each step. That's a good idea for these types of home service projects where people aren't necessarily sure of what to expect. So this is a really good example of a simple WordPress website that you can build for a small business or a home service kind of business. So let's go to the next one. This is another WordPress website. You can see that with the icon up here. And I mean, you're seeing that these are very similar. This industry, you have very similar kind of websites. You really want the galleries. You want the button to do an estimate or a contact form to do the estimate. And you want testimonials and reviews. So those three things I think are the most important for these kind of websites. So we'll go to some of the inner pages. Let's wait for this to load. And I like up top here how they have a call to action, call today, free estimate. You know, that does kind of stand out a little bit up there. So this is a nice looking website. I love this idea. Well, first of all, I love a couple things about this. Number one, they have a YouTube video. And the other thing that I like is this guide here. They have a call to action with a free guide, how to hire the right bathroom remodeler. And I'm going to assume that they're doing this to collect email addresses. So let's take a look at that. We'll click on this page, and I would imagine that this is going to be an email capture form. And there you go. We have a little, article or blog entry where this girl Sarah, she does a little sales pitch, and then they have the form here to sign up to get this. And this is how they collect leads. And once again, you can build an email list and use email marketing to stay in contact with your clients over time. So this really depends on the type of business and what you're selling, but an email list is generally a good idea for most types of businesses. So those are some good examples for the home service industry. So let's go to the next one. We are going to do auto repair. So this is another service industry. Similar to home service, so the website should be kind of similar to what we just looked at, but every industry has its own little nuance. So let's take a look. We're going to search for auto repair, and we're not going to do Fort Collins this time. We are going to do Lee's Summit, Missouri. And let's see what we got here. First of all, I noticed that all three of these on the local listings have reviews, whereas on the previous ones, the previous searches that we did, there weren't as many reviews on Google. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but that tells me that maybe reviews are a little bit more important for an auto repair place compared to a home service industry place. And that might also be in part just because the jobs are smaller. You might get people that review on an oil change or something like that that's 30 or 50 bucks. And a home service business might not have any projects that they fix for 50 bucks. I mean, their minimum price might be $1,000 or something like that. So let's take a look at these websites. We'll open up these three, and it looks like that's exactly what we open here. We have the organic listings, the auto clinic, this one, Yelp, Yellow Pages, and Perfect Connections. So once again, the ones that are ranking well on the map listings are also doing well on the organic listings. And we have one other, Derek's Automotive Service. There are a few others here, but I'm just going to keep this limited to these four websites. And another thing that you will see is that the autoclinic.com, Lee Summit Auto Repair, they're advertising here on Google. So their ad is showing up when somebody searches auto repair on Lee Summit. And this is another thing that I've done with clients. We've done Google advertising, and you can track how many times your ad appears, how many people click through. You can change your bid to determine how much you want to pay for a visitor, and you only pay when somebody visits to your website. So there's a lot of good things when it comes to advertising on Google, and you just need to be willing to spend a little bit of money and test a few things before you hit a winning ad. But it's a good idea to drive traffic if you have a new website and you have a strong offer or business that's been established but doesn't have a following online, to kind of build that momentum. So let's take a look at these websites. So the first one we have here it looks to me like this is just an HTML website, and as I'm going through the links, I see HTML and I see PHP. So this might be a hand-coded website with PHP and HTML. And as I go down here, I see that the company that built this actually has a link for repair shop websites. So this is another thing that I highly recommend. You should specialize in one type of industry, because if you don't, you're not going to know enough about the industry, and you're not going to be able to offer advice for the most part. And I like to think that you should want to get into marketing for the businesses that you work for if you build websites for them, because ultimately that's how they make money. It's not just through having a website and updating it. You know, you need to be aware of who the types of customers are going to the website and what their marketing plan is. And the more you know about their business and the more you know about the industry, the more valuable you become. So let's take a quick look at this repair shop website. I'm just curious about this. And the first thing I notice is that they use, I think I just saw that image. Yeah, so on the second slider here, they reuse this stock image on their website and here. So that's a good example of how you can reuse the resources available to you to really create a project quickly, as opposed to trying to do everything unique and custom. So they have the what we do, services offered, customer service, guarantees, all of them. They have questions. I wonder if this is like an FAQ. No, this is actually a form, a link to a form. Let's see if they have FAQs on here. They do have information in the form of an article, but they don't really have FAQs. But it looks like they have videos. And as I link to that, they link to another website here. So I'm not exactly sure that that's the best idea for a link on your main navigation menu to direct you away from the main website. But this is just a link to another website, and I'm sure this is a service that they use and pay monthly for, whatever this bgfindashop.com is that we were just visiting. They have an appointment request button. Okay, so that's kind of like the form that we just had when we clicked this questions. And they have that here too. They have the appointment request there and also here. So they're really emphasizing the call to actions on this. And overall, it's a good website. You know, the design could be improved a little bit, but overall, I like this website. So let's go to the next one. We'll exit out of this. Well, first of all, let's see what kind of plans they have. See, this is the type of thing I like to do. Like, I do kind of go on a tangent sometimes, but you learn a lot when you do that. You know, if you look into who built a website, the other types of websites that they have, other websites in the same industry, what they do on social media. I mean, there's so much you can learn about one industry that is going to help you out when you're building a website for somebody. It looks to me as though they don't list their prices on here, which I think is a good idea. I don't think you want to list your prices because you might want to change your price over time. But they do have a checklist of what they give you. And just a couple things. Look at this. Appointment request and tire selector online forms. That is a perfect example of a feature that if you're just doing websites for every industry, you could never target that exact feature because only a small percentage of your clients would need that. Whereas if you're going after auto repair shops, 100% of your clients are going to need that, and that's a really strong selling feature that the generic website builders can't offer. I really do love the design of their website, this portfolio website. But let's continue here, not waste too much time. So let's look at this one. This is a WordPress website as well. This is a very basic design, but they do have a YouTube video on the homepage, which I like. That's personal, and they emphasize these buttons over here. Get a quote, money saving coupons, need tires, best prices, and request an appointment. So they kind of do the same things. And they have more buttons down here, which this is a little bit better, the design, compared to this area up here. But overall, I do like this website. Let's take a look at some of these other pages. They have a good picture of their business. I love that. They keep the sidebar over here with the request an appointment button. I would imagine this is going to be on every page here. Let's go to the meet the owners. And yeah, this is a sidebar on every page of the website. This is a very personal family photo. I love that. That type of thing builds trust with people. A lot of companies just overlook it. They don't think you need it, but it takes 2 seconds to do, and more than half of them don't do it. So encourage your clients to be as personal as possible, especially with photos. So let's see here. They have the car care tips. I love that. They have free reports, it looks like, for all these different tips, how to save money on gas. Once again, they use it to collect leads. I love that idea, to build your email list. So this website does a lot of things right, in my opinion. Let's check out the next one. And this perfectconnection.net is a Napa Auto Care Center. So I don't know if this is directly related to Napa, or if they just are an independent contractor that works with Napa. It looks like this website is powered by Car Care Connect. Take a look at that. I don't know exactly what this is. And if you notice here, the title for this page is SEO Marketing for Auto Shops. Once again, an SEO company specializing in auto shops. So they built this website, once again, WordPress website. So you're seeing a lot of commonalities between these local business websites. We see a lot of WordPress. We see some HTML. I haven't come across any SquareSpace. I think that's notable. SquareSpace, as good as it is to get a website for $8 a month, there's not that many people that want. When I'm talking about that, I mean business owners. People watching this video will definitely do it, but business owners don't want to learn a lot of the online stuff. They're not going to want to build a website themselves. They don't know design. They don't want to learn a new system, especially if they're not tech savvy. There is a market for these small business owners to have a website created for them, and you can be that. You can be that person. That's what I've done. I've built a side business doing that. So let's take a look at a few of these pages here. We have a national warranty. I wonder if this is related to Napa. It looks like it is. Nationwide warranty. They have their services listed. Let's see what they have on the About Us page if it's personal. And they have a small picture of the team. They could definitely do better in that area. They have promotions listed. And this is just something that you can print out and bring. Cars for Heroes, which is obviously some type of charity work that they do. And they have YouTube videos on this page, which I like. So overall, this is a good design, and you can see this Car Care Connect. They're doing a good job of marketing to auto businesses. So let's move on to the next example, or I'm sorry, the next website here. Derek's Automotive. So this was on the bottom of page 1. Let's see if this has any technology behind it. It's very simple. So it looks like this is probably just an HTML site. And that's exactly what I see when I hover over these icons. And they only have 3 pages according to what I'm looking at here. They have Home, About Us, and Contact. So, and down here I see the link. This looks like a GoDaddy link to me. That's exactly what it is. It's GoDaddy Website Builder. So even a simple GoDaddy website builder is ranking on page 1. If you had another automotive service type website in the Lee Summit area and built up that website over a few months, I think it would rank pretty well. I think it would get to the first page. I would have to do more research to kind of definitively say that. And there's no definitive statements when it comes to Google's algorithms, but I think that this website, or I think it would be easy to either improve this website or beat this website, but again, I don't know the traffic for these terms in Lee's Summit. That's another factor and variable. So let's just go to one of the pages. Let's go to the About Us page. And that's pretty simple. The contact page just has a form on it. They do have the map. So this is a website that could definitely be improved, and I would recommend that they go to WordPress. I think WordPress is the better option compared to a GoDaddy website builder template. I really don't like template websites like that, and maybe that's just because I'm so experienced with WordPress, but I think the flexibility of WordPress is unlike anything that SquareSpace or GoDaddy or Wix or any of them can offer. So let's go to our next example. I just opened up that GoDaddy link, but we're going to go to our next example here. I'm going to search for something now that I wish I could be eating. I'm actually on a diet, which is a low sugar diet, and I haven't had much sugar in the past 3 or 4 months. And although I did grill some chicken thighs the other night, I still could go for some good barbecue, and that's what I'm going to search for. Barbecue restaurant. But I'm going to do it somewhere other than Lee Summit. We're going to do Franklin, Tennessee. I think when you think of Tennessee, you think barbecue and the blues, or country. Just a great music and food scene over there. So let's see what comes up on the results. And not surprisingly, the first 3 results on here are actually Yelp and TripAdvisor. And Yelp is usually a big player in terms of restaurants, and they appear for a lot of terms related to restaurant searches. But let's see the local results. See the first one, BB's Barbecue, doesn't have a website according to this. So we'll just do the first 2 websites, which is Barbecuity and Moe's Original Barbecue. And as we go down here, you'll see that the first local website listed is Moe's Original Barbecue. Then we have Famous Dave's, which I know there's a Famous Dave's chain near me in New Jersey. I don't know if this is an offshoot of that or if it's just another business named Famous Dave's. But let me open that. And the URL there is Home of the Big Slab. So it looks like a small business, but I'll probably immediately notice the logo if it is the chain. And you see this Moe's Original Barbecue is listed here as well on Zomato, which I've never heard of, but I guess it's just some type of restaurant review site. And they have their Facebook page. So on here they have 1, 2 with their website, 3 with Zomato, and 4 listings with Facebook. So they have 4 of these 13 listings or so. So that's another good example of, as a local business, what you want to do. You need to get your website built up with great content, but you also want to distribute that content on other local directories like Yelp or Houzz, like we just talked about, or like Angie's List. That's another home service directory, local business directories. So the more places that your website is listed, number one, the more chance that those other websites are going to rank on Google in addition to your website. And it should also lift your website up to rank higher. So with that said, let's take a look at some of these websites. I'm just going to quickly look at their Facebook page. I want to see how many likes they have. I can see they have a 4.5 star review, but they have 1,600 likes. And you can see they're active on there. They're posting about the Nashville Predators. So let's go to these websites.
Welcome to the website of Famous 5 Dining. We're franchisees of Famous Dave's.
And you see this video auto-playing, which I absolutely hate. That's like, I guess people like it, otherwise they wouldn't do it, but I hate that. But this does look like the logo of Famous Dave's, the chain that's near me. So this is probably just a local store of this Famous Dave's chain. So a few things. I don't necessarily like these tabs for the menu, how it's layered. They have like 3 levels of it. That doesn't look good to me. It's kind of confusing, and they're also small lettering, so not a lot of space to click on the right ones. But the one thing that you do notice is they have the Pig Club, which is also an email list, I'm sure. You can see they have Infusionsoft, which, if you don't know, Infusionsoft is an email marketing service that costs a lot of money. I think they have a setup fee, which is in the thousands of dollars. So if you see somebody using Infusionsoft, you know that they have a lot of money to spend, or they're spending a lot of money already on marketing. So if we go back to the website, I don't know if this is the best example because, like I said, this is a chain restaurant. So let's go to the other 2. We have Moe's Original Barbecue. This is the one we were just looking at on the Facebook page. And I like this. They have the rustic wood background, whether that's a wood fence. They have pictures of their food. They have pictures of people in the restaurant. they have their page here, which actually has 9,000 likes. I don't know if that was a different page than the one I was just looking at. Maybe they have different locations. They do have this section here which looks blank, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's go to the Contact Us page and see if they do have multiple locations. And it looks like they do. They have a franchise system here, so they probably do franchise that. This might be similar to Famous Dave's, to be honest with you, and I just had never heard of it. So let's go to their Eats and Catering page. The one thing I don't necessarily like, well, I don't dislike it, but I feel like it could be a little confusing, is these picture icons for the menu. I actually did not even notice that at first. I thought it was like brands or something. I would rather just have plain text there, but that's just me. You can see they do have a list of what they serve. I don't know if they have a menu on here. So even though this is a good design, there is a lot of inconsistencies, I would say, that they could just clear up a little bit better. But they do have a lot of awards. You can't fault them for that. Actually, this is a timeline. I thought these were a list of awards, but this is actually a timeline of their history. But you can see the history goes back, back to 2001. So they obviously are doing a good job there. And here's the last one, Barbecuity. This is a WordPress website. They also have a locator, so they have multiple locations in many states here. So it looks like all of these that are doing well are really chain restaurants, which that's a little bit disheartening, because you would think if you're searching for a good barbecue, you would want maybe, small local places. But either way, I'd imagine the food is good at these places. I mean, how can you go wrong with barbecue? So they have a list of their locations, and for each one it looks like they have the menu. They have a JPEG image of the menu. Comes up in a fancy box. They have a catering section. This is a very nicely designed website. And let me see if I can find maybe one, really small shop here. Let me go to page 2. And if we look on page 2, we have EW.com. I guess that, I don't know if that's Entertainment Weekly. Cool Springs, Famous Dave's, Gymnix. They have gymnix.com twice here. This looks like, and when I'm looking on Google for these websites, I completely missed this one too, Martin's Barbecue Joint. I'm looking for a URL that is the main domain only, not a subpage. So this is right here, franklin.thefuntimesguide.com/2006. That's a subpage. That's a blog post or a subpage on the domain. I'm looking for full websites that are on this topic, so looking for just the .com only with no subpages. So let me open up this one really quickly. Just take a quick look at these two, Martin's Barbecue Joint. And here we go. This is SquareSpace. So this is the first SquareSpace one I found. They do have the pop-up menu for the email list, which that's a good idea. And SquareSpace, it is nicely designed sites. I mean, they look really good. I can't deny that. But what I will say is, you're not going to find a ton of business owners that are that business or that tech savvy that they want to learn it or do it themselves. So there's always people out there that are looking for help. There's a ton of businesses out there that need help in some of these areas. If we go to the recipes page, this is really well done. And they obviously have good pictures here. So they're good on the content side of things. You could tell that they're a little bit tech savvy. They're taking good pictures. They're doing recipes. They're actually selling their own sauce, it looks like. So they're doing a lot with this website. And this is the type of thing that you could potentially implement for somebody that isn't tech savvy with WordPress, shopping cart solutions, whatever you want to do, you can really figure out a way to do it. It's just a matter of finding the right clients that need that help. So here's the other one, Gymnix Barbecue. It looks like this is Concord, North Carolina. That's what I thought I just saw up here. Let me see if they have other locations. Here we go, all locations. So this is out of North Carolina, and it looks like they do have Tennessee location. That's why it came up when I searched there. So this is another chain. Great design, but a chain restaurant. And as you'll notice, this is WordPress as well. So restaurants are interesting. I thought about working for restaurants early on, and I never did. I think with restaurants, more important than just having a website is linking it up to the social aspect and really building an email list, giving them offers, trying to drive traffic to come to the restaurant through the email list and the social media. That's probably just as important as a website for some of these types of businesses. So onward, we're going to go to the next search here, and we're going to relocate to Naples, Florida, but we're not going to search for a barbecue restaurant. I'm going to search there for in-ground pool, which I would think is probably pretty popular in that area, considering how hot it is in Florida during the summer months. So the first thing you'll see is there's 4 ads up top here. Generally, they're going to show more ads if there's more competition for a search term. And like I said, in-ground pools, that's an expensive service. Naples, Florida is a perfect area for that service. There's probably a lot of competition for these ads. And you'll see the ones that are advertising are not always the same. You're going to see a few people that rank naturally and a few that are paying to get on the first page. Like, for instance, the 3 map results, we have Nassau, Aaron Pools and Spas, and we have Hydrotech Pools. Well, I don't see Aragon. I thought I said Aaron. I don't see Aragon and Nassau pools up in the ads, but I do see Hydrotech. They're right here. So their ad calls for Naples pool construction, custom swimming pools, and design. So let's open up the websites for these 3 places. I'm not going to click on these ads because these businesses pay when you click on the ads, and Google does have an algorithm to protect against that if you're advertising, so you don't waste your budget on those types of clicks, fraudulent clicks. But I like to be kind and not do that. It's just paying it forward. I believe in karma. So let me open up this one, SCC Pools. I don't think that we opened up this website. So this is a website that's ranking organically, but not necessarily on the map locations. And we haven't seen that completely, but it's not uncommon for that to happen. And if we go down here, we have the Better Business Bureau, Classic Pools of Naples, Aqua Artisans. So let me open up a few of these. Superior Pools. So you can see there's a lot more small businesses listed here compared to the last one we just did with Barbecue Restaurant. And like I said, that's because the competition's higher, and there's probably a lot more businesses that do this type of work, a little bit more crowded of a market. So let's take a look at some of these websites. Let's just go through them. So this first one, we have a loading thing. This is Adobe Flash. I hate this. I don't like Adobe Flash. I don't like auto playing. Let me turn that off. They have a button over here, sound off. And we can go through a few of these pages. If we go to the About Us page, they have a very brief description here, and they have these 2 more info buttons, which I guess brings up another page. So this entire experience is just a little bit weird because it's coded within Adobe Flash. And Adobe Flash usually isn't that good for SEO, although this company is ranking well, probably because of other factors, like the fact they have more reviews than anyone else listed over here. They have 16 reviews, 4.2 stars. But overall, I don't mind the design of this site. I wouldn't use Adobe Flash personally. I think that's a technology that's going out the door in favor of HTML5 and CSS3. So there you can see that they link to a few other, I guess, businesses either that they're associated with or that they use their products. If we check out the testimonials, like this text is just jumping around here. They have a few video testimonials links here. If I click on them, I'm sure it'll pop up just right within this box or a new window. So this is a good site. I just don't like the technology it's built on. We'll go to the next one. And this is even simpler. This has literally no text at all. It's just a banner. And they don't have any other subpages. This is just a home page as far as I could tell. So this is interesting. And they actually, there's a byline created by 4Watt Interactive. I don't know I would be that proud to put that on there considering there's nothing on this page. I don't know, maybe that's a client issue. Let's take a look at the web company and what their website looks like. Their website doesn't look that bad. It looks a little bit better than the one they built for these people. But let me go back here. And yeah, there's nothing else on this page, so there's really nothing else to look at. And even with this one page, no word website, they're ranked on the Google Maps. And I think they might be down here. They're on the last result here on this page. So again, it goes to show you, you can improve this 1,000% if you had control of it and this was a WordPress website. So let's go to the next one. This one, it looks like the logo is not appearing. We have a broken image link right here where the logo should be. Let me refresh it and see if there's anything going on there. And there we go. So maybe that was just a browser issue. But we got the link, or we got the logo in there now. They have a banner with sub-headlines for each one that links to a different page. I like this design. I like the banner, you know, advertisement down here. It's like a self-advertisement for their own website. Let's go to some of these other pages. Let's go to the products and see what they use. See what they have for heating. Pool heating, AquaCal tropical heat pump. So they actually tell you how much it is installed. $3,100 installed. The next one's at $3,300 to $4,100. You can do solar heating starting at $2,500. So they give you an idea of what you're going to pay for this, which in a service business like home services, pools, it's probably a good idea to do that. The one thing that I would say about this site is over on the right here, you'll notice that there's a display advertisement. And this is a Google advertisement. It's being targeted to me because I'm in New Jersey right now. But they shouldn't, I wouldn't put a Google advertisement on your website, because what happens is if I click on this ad, this company, Hydrotech Pools, is going to get paid by Google a percentage of the click cost. So whatever this Vaughn Heating would pay, they would get a percentage of it for referring me to them. But if you think about it, why would you want somebody to leave your website? You know, if somebody's on your website, chances are you can convert them into a client, or at least try to. And if they become a client, then they might be paying $4,000 or something like that to you. So why would you want to get 50 cents if somebody clicks on an ad, as opposed to trying to sell them on the $4,000 product that they're probably interested in anyway? So generally, display advertisements aren't good for service-based websites or local websites. They're good for media websites or informational websites that are highly targeted but don't really have other ways to make money. But local businesses are making money already for the most part. So I would remove this Google advertisement on the right here if I were them. So let's go to the next one. And I like this design. This doesn't look like it's a WordPress site. This is also an ASP.NET Windows site or Windows Server site. But the design on this is very similar to what you could do with WordPress. And frankly, I like it all. I like the background image they have. I like these images on the slider. I like the headlines. You know, they have a pretty nice looking font. They have a checklist here. Looks like they link to a video on here. They have an offer for a swim in 30 days guaranteed. I mean, that's another add-on service that they probably offer, or just a guide to collect email addresses potentially. So they have a nice looking website, and it looks like they got some good pages on here too. Pool construction, pool renovations. They have a lot of pictures on the process. You know, they take you through the process of what's going to happen, which, as I mentioned before, that's usually something that most homeowners don't have an idea of if they haven't tackled a big project like this before. And they show you pool renovations. Now, they don't have any pictures on this, but still looks like they do have a good amount of pictures on the other pages and the galleries here. We'll take a look at this gallery. It looks like we do have some broken links, but they have a lot of different photos on here. So obviously they'd want to clean up those broken links. But for the most part, they're doing a good job, and that's why they're ranking well. And they have a ton of testimonials on here that you can expand by clicking this Read More button. That's a nice little feature. And you'll notice that the testimonials page is kind of targeting different search terms for their specific area, like Southwest Florida, Naples, Florida, which was our search. So the fact that they have Naples, Florida listed on here with testimonials, several times, that is going to help them rank when people are searching for in-ground pools in Naples, Florida. So let's go to the next site here. Now this one's an older design. You can tell right away that this is not as modern as the previous one we were just looking at. But for the most part, as long as they have high quality photos, which they do, that's good enough most of the time to convince people to give you a call. As long as you have a lot of high quality photos and trustworthy photos of your work, your design can really be anything. So this looks pretty basic. It looks like it might be maybe a 5 or 6 page website. Let's go to the About Us page. And yeah, they only have 2 paragraphs on here. They could put photos of the owner or other people on their team. Let's go to the products page. And they link to third-party websites from the major suppliers that they use. Check out the services page. And once again, I mean, this is a very simplistic site. 1 paragraph with some bullet points of what their services are. And their photo gallery, right here they have 12 photos. Let's see if they have other photo galleries here. It looks like this might just filter out of the 12. I'm not sure if these are separate photos. You can see here, this is a very basic site. And the technology is also very basic. I think Plesk is a content management system. I think I downloaded it one time meaning to use it, and I just never did because I just decided WordPress was better. So let's go to the next one. And this one, they used a full width background image. And once again, they don't have a lot of wording on this page. They just have their slogan, really. So let's go to some of the inner pages here. And you can see here the byline is website designed by professional SEO design. So that's kind of a, you might say a spammy byline. That's probably not the name of their company, or maybe it is, if they're really just targeting keywords instead of trying to brand themselves. Let's take a look at their site. And yeah, they have a pretty basic site. They're targeting Tampa, Florida, and probably the Florida area. But they have a little meme here on the first page. And they have a hover effect on this. So this isn't a bad site at all. But, it just goes to show you the wide variety of people that build sites that rank well and make money on page 1 of Google. So let's check out 1 or 2 of these pages before we move on. They do have more wording than I expected on these pages, but they use the same picture twice. This looks like the same picture repeated, or maybe just like a different angle of it. It could be before after, but it's kind of tough to tell, to be honest with you. You don't see much of a difference because it's such a low quality image. So let's go to the new construction, and they just briefly describe their services. Testimonials, they have 3 of them, not nearly as many as the previous ones. And on the gallery, it looks like I didn't think they had photos for a second, but it just took a few seconds to load there. They do have good photos on here. So that is that's one big feature of this website. So let's move on to the next topic here. Okay, right now we're going to search for a pet store. Now, to be honest, my parents have a dog, and my sister has a dog that I watch. However, I don't necessarily know much about pet stores. I would imagine that nowadays there's probably not that many mom and pop pet stores, but I guess we're going to find out because I'm going to search in a town in Oregon. So I'm going to search pet store Gresham, Oregon. And I believe that this is just outside of Portland. I'm not 100% sure. And not surprisingly, the first couple that come up, first of all, you see Petco runs an ad. Then there's the Petco store. And there's a PetSmart. But the other one we have is Second Nature, which they don't have a website link here. So let's see if there's any on the first page. And we have PetSmart, Yelp, Petco, Yellow Pages, Exclusive Pet Supply, and it says Fairview, Oregon. So I think this looks like it's a local site. Yeah, located near Gresham. And then the Second Nature, which is ranked up here, they have a Facebook page, which has 20 votes and a 4.9 rating. So you could say even if you don't have a website, you can get ranked, but obviously you don't own the Facebook page. You know, Facebook owns that, and they determine how many people see your posts. Not everybody that likes the page is going to see your posts on Facebook, and there's no guarantee that they're going to rank. So here's another one, Nature's Pet Market / Gresham. So this might be some type of regional or national website, and this could be the local branch or page for it. Then we have Burns Feed Store. So let's click on this, Portland Family Pet. Let's click on that one. And then I think I've come across this twice, where this directory, business directory, is listed on a news site, like a newspaper kind of site, businessfinder.oregonlive.com. I think we have businessfinder.nj.com and then businessfinder of another state. I can't remember off the top of my head which other state had it. But let's go on and take a look at these websites. So the first one, Exclusive Pet Supply. And you can see that they list their top brands here. And they have a page, it looks like, for each brand. So let me click on one of these. I'm going to click on Natural Balance. And they have a page devoted to each brand that describes it. And then they give you the hours of their store on each of these pages along with the phone number. So I like that. It's a call to action. And they have a lot of information about the products within their store. Now the design itself could be a little bit more modern, but it looks like this one was created with Dreamweaver. I've had some nightmares with Dreamweaver websites from other clients when I took over as managing their website. There's just a lot of issues with Dreamweaver if you're going to convert it to an HTML or WordPress site. I generally don't recommend Dreamweaver, and like I said, I kind of have a hatred towards it. So let's go to some other pages. They have dog food, cat food. It looks like from here they link to the brand pages. Let's go to the toys and treats and see what they have here. And they just list the categories and have images of the store. They don't sell anything online, which I would imagine that's what most local stores do. You know, I don't think many of them do sell online, and that is something you could look into. You could offer that as a service. Let's go to the supplements page, and they do a similar thing where they just list a few pictures and categories. And let's take a look. Teeth cleaning. Let's see if they have just information on that. It looks like they have a service. They have a teeth cleaning service. So that's another interesting way that this pet store makes money. I bet you a pet store could organize dog walkers and use that as a service. I mean, it might take a little bit of a logistical creativity, but I think that's another way they could potentially make money. But other than that, this is a standard website, but they're doing a good job for the most part, even though it's simple. And down here, they link to all the manufacturers. So up here, they have their own page for their brands. Here, they actually link to the brand website. And I like the way they do that. They keep you on the website with these links. And if you want to visit the other brand websites, you could do so from down here. But it's kind of out of the way because you want the visitor to stay on your website and navigate from page to page. Because the more time they spend on the site, that's another signal to Google that your site's doing well, and they might push your rankings higher. So let's move on to the next site. We have Nature's Pet Market. I like the design of this site. This looks very much like a WordPress site, but I could see up here, this looks like the Drupal logo. And that's what is used. Drupal is used for content management. Now, Drupal is similar to WordPress. The way that it's described to me is that it's more powerful than WordPress in terms of what you can do with code, but because of that, the user interface is a little bit more complicated and nowhere near as user-friendly as WordPress. And frankly, I think the more that we move along, WordPress is getting bigger than Drupal by the day, so there's going to be more and more development with WordPress that I think is going to just continue to keep it #1 for content management. Let's look at this. Just right on the homepage here, they have the address, they have the store hours. They don't have a lot of information or a picture of the store, which I think would be a good idea. But as I mentioned, it looks like this is a sub-page for naturespetmarket.com. So this isn't the homepage of a local site. It looks like this might be an offshoot of a regional store. So let's take a look. And it looks like Nature's Pet Market, they definitely have multiple locations. So they are a franchise. I can see that down here. And let's take a look at the Find a Store page and see if they have a search feature or if they have a map. And it wants my location. Right now I'm just going to block it. I just want to take a look at the different locations they have. So I see one in South Carolina. I see Kansas. I see Texas. I see Ohio. So this is a nationwide store. So let's move to the next website. I don't necessarily want to look at this website. Here we have Burns Feed. I love this. This is right in your face. You have the a big bright picture. And I guess they sell chicks. They might sell chickens, so you can get some chickens in your backyard and start harvesting eggs. They have a bigger call to action to the newsletter, so I love that. It's not a very small form that blends in with the rest of the site. It stands out. They have a lot of pictures here. So this is a very nice looking website. They have their address down here. They give you your hours. It looks like this is probably located on every page, this widget bar down here with the About, Address, Store Hours, and Map. So let's go to another page here. Let's go to the Products page. Pet Food and Supplies. And they have another background image here, so I love that for the heading area. I mean, their logo is great too. This is a nice, clean logo. And they have a lot of great pictures. So this is a really, really nice website. And if I hadn't mentioned it before, this is WordPress. I see the WordPress icon up here. So no surprise, this is a WordPress website. So let's go to the specials page and see what they do there. And they have grill specials. Up to $100, $120 worth of free barbecue products. Let's see if they have any events listed. And they do. They have events in March, April, poultry seminar, chick day, horse owners workshop. So they're really utilizing the website to talk about everything that their company does. And it's not surprising to me that they're listed on first page of Google. Let's go to their blog and see if they're active with blogging. And not surprisingly, they are. We have 2 posts from March and a few others from 2016. So they continue to put out great information. They have information on spring planting, moss control, clipper care, mason bees, 10 signs your dog loves you, pet dental health. Let's look at the spring planting because I actually just planted seeds a few days ago for my garden. And let's see here. They don't have, this is a very short post. So they're really doing very short blog posts. But hey, something's better than nothing when it comes to being active on your website. So let's move on to the next one here. Family Pet. Now this is also a local business because you can see they put their address right up here with the phone number. And while the website does look a little bit older, the layout is relatively similar to a WordPress website. And if we go down here, I can see that the company that does this is Heboo. And this company is similar to like Yellow Pages. They're a huge company that offers digital marketing and website packages. And I think this is really like a competitor. This is a company that you can search for their websites and maybe get an idea of how they do business. But any big company like this is going to offer a standard template package, and they're not going to create ideas. They're not going to have a one-on-one relationship with the customer. So that's where you need to separate yourself. You need to build a one-on-one relationship and get an idea of the industry, come up with ideas, and that's going to set you apart from a company like this. And I believe they charge somewhere on the order of $50 to $100 a month for these services, maybe even higher if you're doing advertising. Let me take a quick look at their websites page. And yeah, they don't have any information about pricing on here, but I know I've seen reviews or someone mentioning how much it costs for the websites. So let's go back here and take a look at a few other pages on the site. Go to the pet accessories page, and not surprisingly, they don't have a lot of information on this website. This is a very, very standard website. They do have an image of all the brands that they carry, which I like, similar to the previous page that we just looked at. But you know, at this point, we're starting to get very repetitive. I mean, you're seeing a lot of commonalities between local websites and the shortcomings of them, but you're also seeing the wide variety of platforms used, the wide variety of, you know, photos, the wide variety of content on a website or lack thereof for a lot of them, and also the variety of website designers or companies or individuals that are building these websites and managing them. So we have one more topic here, one more search term that we're going to handle. And let's see if I can make this a little bit quicker, because I feel like I am starting to repeat myself. But this has been a great couple of hours to dig into a lot of different local companies' searches. So the final one here is going to be in Brunswick, Maine. And for this one, I'm actually, instead of searching the state initial, I'm going to search the entire state, Maine. And it seems like a small difference if I search Brunswick or Maine versus Brunswick, MA. But in terms of Google, they are different search terms, and the rankings could be different. So that's another thing to consider. So let me search for something that everyone uses, dentists. So I'm going to search dentists, Brunswick, Maine. And here you'll see the top 3 results have a lot of reviews. We have 32 reviews, 48 reviews, 30 reviews. Let's go to these 3 websites, and I would think that those are going to be the 3 also ranked here. And I see 2 of the 3 here. Or no, it looks like all 3 of these, yeah, are the top 3 for the organic results. And then we have White Pages and another doctor here, Dr. Oshensky, or Oshetsky. So let's open his site, and we're just going to look at these 4. And let's quickly go through them. So the technology behind this site looks like there are no frameworks of note that I can notice here. So it looks like this might just be a plain HTML site. The design I actually like a lot. It's a pretty good design if it is a hand-coded site. And they have this little box down here, which is interesting, with this girl pointing down to the different links. So they do a few interesting things with the website. It looks like they have a good amount of information on these pages, but they don't have a blog or anything to keep it active on a, you know, monthly or weekly basis. And it looks like the person that, or company that developed this website is Next Ad Agency. So we'll take a look at their website. And they look like a relatively big company.
It'll just take a second.
Now they have an auto playing video somewhere that I don't want to deal with, so let me exit out of here. And we'll move on to the next website. Now this one has maybe an even older look to it. They put the address on here with the phone number. They have an appointment request button. I like how they do break down the categories here. They have 6-month smiles, Invisalign, implants, and teeth whitening. And then they have a featured review with the Google logo, so you know it's a verified Google review. They have a special offer. So, and if you look down here, we have dentalwebsites.com, an industry specialist for dentists. This is a recurring theme we're also seeing, that you have to specialize in a certain kind of website to really get to know the industry, what it takes to rank, and their marketing plans. So let's move on to the next website here. This one is a WordPress website. I can see the WordPress icon. They have the sitemap, contact us, and the address and phone number on the bottom here. If we go to a few other pages, I like this. I like how they have the silhouette almost image with the background cutout of these two doctors, and they have a lot of other pictures of team members, so this is a very personal touch. Let's go to their services page. And I like this, how they also break it down with the categories. They have nice graphic icons here to go through the different services that they offer. It looks like they have some PDFs that they give you. And it's a very pleasant color scheme. They have the teal with the beige, like dark beige almost. And the way they use that is they have a really clean layout. It's almost all white with pretty much just those two colors along with black. And there's two buttons that stand out: the request appointment button up here and the request an appointment button down here. So the call to action really stands out on this page more than a lot of other older layouts or websites. So I like this a lot too. They have an FAQ. I always recommend an FAQ if you can, if you talk with clients and they ask similar questions, which almost always happens in every industry. And they have a nice design with this like drop down feature. And at the bottom they have some dental recommendations. So overall I like this website a lot. Let's take a look at the last one here. This is a WordPress website. I could see that from this icon. Now this is an older design. I don't know what this image has anything to do with dentistry, but it does show you the main landscape, so I'll say that. But this is the type of thing where if you don't have images from the client, you might have to improvise and do something like this if you can get free stock images this way, or take a few yourself with your iPhone, because nowadays a phone camera is just as powerful as a professional camera was 5 or 10 years ago. They have an appointment section here, make an appointment. Let's see some of their information here, patient reviews. We'll see how many reviews they have, and they have a lot here. And it almost looks like this is being imported from some type of system that they might use. Here we go, powered by Demandforce. So they use Demandforce, which I don't know what it is. I could take a look. And we have automated marketing solution. So they use this automated marketing solution, which is catered to these industries: dental, medical, spa and salon, automotive, optometry, and veterinary. So I would imagine this Demandforce costs them in the hundreds of dollars per month, if not thousands, depending on how much it solves for them. So let's look what else they have here. Doctor referrals, they have a whole section on that. They have a few screenshots of software that they use to monitor x-rays and MRIs, it looks like. They have some instructions for surgical procedures, which I like that. So overall, even though they could add better pictures, this is a very nice website that's ranking pretty well. So this is going to end the video. I want to stop here before I go over the 2-hour mark. And I really think that this should give you an idea of what I look into when I analyze an industry or search terms catered to a local search and local businesses. The more you do this, the more commonalities you're going to see, the more trends you're going to come across. And that is how you get websites ranked and get them traffic, because just building a website sometimes isn't enough. You can have a website that just sits there and gets no traffic for years if you don't build it properly and understand how to promote it through search or other methods like social media nowadays, video marketing, and display advertising. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you're interested in building websites and managing online marketing for local clients, I advise that you visit my website, which is websiteprofitcourse.com. I have a PDF there which is 15 tools to start your web design business. Those are the tools that I use daily to manage many client websites, several of which are local businesses that are targeting either a specific town or just statewide traffic. Also, if you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I continue to put out videos on websites, online marketing, WordPress, and working from home. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.